What did our ancestors teach us about the ocean?
Our ancestors taught us a lot about the ocean. The very first story I recall hearing was the creation story of the Tsleil-Waututh people. You might recall that our first grandfather was transformed from a wolf into a human being. And when he grew up, he noticed that he was all by himself. He didn't have a mate like all the other creatures had mates. And so the Creator gave him a vision. And the vision was to go to the highest cliff on the inlet and to dive down all the way to the bottom. And once he got there, he was to pick up 2 handfuls of sediment. He brought that to the beach and he brushed it around, a circle around it with a cedar brow to make sure it was clean and clear. And then he went to sleep. And in the morning when he woke up, there was our first grandmother. So our first grandmother comes from the inlet, and our Tsleil-Waututh ties to that inlet. The teachings, the snəw, is to always protect the inlet. Another one of our teachings around the inlet is, you remember hearing that phrase or that teaching, when the tide went out, the table is set. What do you think that means?
The water goes out, the mud flats are there, and you can eat the clams, you can harvest them and cook them.
Yeah.
Then devour them.
Exactly. So the inlet helps feed us human beings. So we always have to be respectful when we're down on the beach, because we know that our ancestors really survived on the clams, the oysters, the mussels, the different other kinds of sea life that are here in the inlet. Those are the 2 most important teachings we have about the inlet.
Why can't we eat the clams?
We can't eat the clams anymore because of pollution. Back in the early 1970s or mid-1970s, the pollution in the inlet just got to be too great that it basically poisoned the clams. Like, the clams live in the mud, right? So all the pollution from the refineries that you can see here, and their sewage that goes into the water, it all just adds up. They call it a cumulative effect. So it all adds up, it all builds up, and it poisons the clams so that human beings can't eat them anymore.
Why can't we swim wherever and whenever we want?
We can swim more often now in the inlet than we used to be able to do. Back in the day, there were a lot of red tide. And when I was a kid, like your age, my dad would look out into the inlet and he'd say, "Oh, it's red tide, no swimming today." And I said to him, "Well, what's red tide?" And he said, "Oh, it's just a way the inlet cleanses herself." So when there's too much stuff in the water, the inlet just, I don't know how it does it, but it just releases all of those poisons, all of those toxins. So I'm not too sure how often the inlet cleanses herself anymore, but we can't swim in the red tide because it'll make a rash on our skin. And it's probably not good to, accidentally swallow any of that water. That's basically why we can't go swimming whenever we want. It's just that the water is too polluted.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
What are we doing about this, and how can we make things better?
Well, at Tsleil-Waututh, we have a department called the Treaty Lands Resource Department, and one of the projects that we're doing is called the Burrard Inlet Water Quality Standards Roundtable. And so what that means is that, we live in a world where there's government and there's policy. Policy are like rules on how we're going to behave. So what Tsleil-Waututh is doing is working with the BC government and a lot of industry and a lot of other governments to help bring those standards to reflect Tsleil-Waututh snəw. Snəw in our language means our laws, our teachings. So we're working with these people to help improve the standards so that our inlet can become healthy again.
After all your effort, is it working?
I think so. You know, with all things, working with, you know, lots of people, there are lots of people at our round table. Everything's going to take time. So the industry, that means the oil refineries and all the other industry that are touching the inlet and have an effect on the inlet, we have to come together to figure out a way to share data. That means just the information that each of those companies have, and we have to be able to share it across all these different levels of government. And so it's going to take time, but it's taken 150 plus years for the inlet to become to this state. Hopefully it won't take us 150 years to clean it up, but we're on the right path and we're working well together. I think we are anyway.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I hope that the pipeline will be removed so that then we can swim throughout the whole year and not have any pollutants.
I hope that the pink salmon return so we can eat them and swim too.
I hope the inlet gets better!
I just wanted to share that I'm really proud of our Treaty Lands Resource Office. We have lots of teams that are out here protecting our inlet on a daily basis. We have a field crew that goes out there and checks on the parks and checks on the water. We had a project that planted eelgrass in different areas along the inlet, and we're working with other companies to restore the eelgrass. Eelgrass is really important part of the ecosystem, right? We've been able to harvest clams on a very secret part of the inlet, because remember I shared with you we can't eat clams from out here anymore, but there's a part in the inlet that's still healthy, so we're doing our best to bring that clam harvest back. In the recent years, the herring have come back. The herring is another fish, type of fish that our people depended on way before contact, and that herring is coming back. And because the herring are coming back, the orcas are coming back. Can you imagine a pod of orcas coming through the busiest port of Vancouver? All the ships, the tankers, the barges, and these orcas come right from the Straits all the way up to the Indian River. So the work that we're doing and the partnerships we have with government and industry are really working. And that's what I just wanted to share with you guys today. Thank you.